Hey, what's going on, guys? Double 18 Set Shadow here. Starting you guys off today with an announcement from Bushiroad this morning. They've introduced a new ride line from Set 9 for Brantgate, and it's a mecha this time. Something that I have been anticipating for a while now. It's the first mecha ride line that we've got for D format. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. The Grade 3's name is Avagarda, has one skill, all your typical stats, and the ride line comes with a new set order type called strategies. So let's go over the skill first and then I'll talk about strategies. So the way this works is that you take a strategy order from your order zone, put it to your soul, you draw a card, this unit gets 5k, then it gets the following skill. When this unit's battle is over, if it hit the Vanguard or your Persona row during the turn, counterblast 1, discard 1, stand this unit and give it -1 drive. So for those of you who played Vanguard back in the old days, you might be thinking, isn't this just a copy of Stern Black Luger? And you would be half right. It is basically Stern Black Luger with some other twists to it. Now, as to its special ability to put strategy orders into the soul, that's the gimmick of how they work. Strategy orders go into the order zone as normal, but their effects activate when you put them to soul. So, the Vanguard effectively triggers the strategies by utilizing its effect, which is a very unique way of applying set orders that we haven't seen yet. It does have one limitation, though. So here's the starter for Avagarda, Biriod. The thing about mechas is that mechas usually need a pilot in order to make them work. Avagarda is representing that is representing that by having this little addendum to it. Its skill only works if Biriod is in the soul. So, you can't Soul Blast this card under any circumstance, or your Vanguard skill doesn't even work. And if you're up against decks like Prison, you have to be sure that you retain enough souls so that you don't end up throwing this into Prison. That's your fair warning. It is weird that they don't have some way to make sure this card stays in the soul, but the fact that you keep putting orders into the soul from the order zone helps the fact that you can Soul Blast for other skills while still keeping this card. But to talk about other cards that come out of this, Mine is obviously a big contender, given that you want Soul and the cost is a counterblast. But as you can see, I'm sure a number of players thought this, and now Mine is gone. For the first time in a while, Mine is actually gone. 20, 21, 25, then 35, it's just gone. The SP has one listing left, but it's $80. And that's all I can say about Mine at this point. It's really bad now. Violet Dragon is something I just want to cover here, looking at its price. We're looking at $65 with only 2 listings. Also pretty insane. And it's sold for $69.69. Yeah, the SP market is still going insane. But getting back on topic, let's take a look at Texion. This card comes out of set 5 and is a generic card for most Brantgate decks. When you discard it, it looks for a set order from the top 5 of your deck and then adds it to your hand. So basically, since Avagarda discards on its restand, and naturally for any deck, when you discard for the ride line, this skill will trigger in both cases. And if there happen to be some other skills which require you to discard, like there's that one product card for set 9 that can be played in Avagarda for getting the Persona rides, this card can also be used with that. So this card actually has some good versatility in Avagarda. Holo is about $5, and then the rare is about $1 to pick up right now, so Definitely worth the pickup since this card is just generic for Brankgate. It's nice to have at least a play set of them in your back pocket. Bushiroad featured this card when they were talking about Avagarda. Megagrago, if you recall from my last market watch, when its boosted attack hits, countercharge. So you would use this with the new Obscuded from set 8, but apparently, I don't know if Bushiroad was trying to draw players away from Bulbul Mine with today's talk or not, because they did try to compare this to Bulbul Mine. But ultimately, yeah, I don't know how well this will actually end up playing in that deck, especially since you have to hit with the Vanguard anyway, so if you're using this to boost the Vanguard, it becomes kind of moot. But it is cheap enough to pick up for its rare. It's actually $1 right now if you take a look at the actual listings. Oh no, actually, the rare is still 20-some cents, but the foil, it shows 10 cents for the low, but it's about $1 to pick up right now. Although, I guess if we move on to the second page, there are still some 50-cent listings with a few copies, so that's also plausible. Something I do want to talk about next, though, and you're probably wondering why I've got Japanese cards up. Let me show you guys something. This is Flare Veil Dragon, the draw trigger from set 4. 1,300 yen, basically. Connector, 1,500. Riley, 1,500. Perobi, 1,500. And Lena, 1,000. Those were the rares from set 4. Now I want to show you the SPs. 7,000, 13,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. These are sold out, by the way, and these are the only two that are still on the market. Now take a look at this. The English copy of Rouse Wildmaster Riley. $275 for its lowest listing right now. The rares, $6, $10. This card is going wild, is all I can say at this point. It's insane. And what's even more insane is that people are actually buying the SP at $250 and higher. That's just... I haven't seen a single trigger yet sell for this much money. I haven't really seen too many cards in SP or higher even sell this high yet, outside of the DSRs, of course. So, yeah, just... the trigger market is getting really, really rough right now when it comes to the high rarities especially. And to that same point, with next month's Chronojet Dragon deck coming out, I wanted to revisit the older copies that you could pick up. The SP is still close to $300 to pick up. It's hilarious how Riley is selling higher than the SP of Chronojet Dragon at this point. And it's insane that this Chronojet Dragon is even selling this high when it's nothing more than a glorified high rarity of the same card you're going to be playing from the new deck. Then you've got the signed version for $28 minimum from the original trial deck of this card, the hot stamp version from the second trial deck this card came from, and even the regular versions from those decks are at least $3 to $7 to pick up right now. Same can't be said for Messiah, though, who will be coming to us maybe in May, I'm assuming? If it's any later, I guess that's really going to be a downer. But the SP for Alter Ego Messiah, because this card is playable in D format since it's the exact same effect. Lowest listing is $50, but nobody's bought this card beyond $45. It's an enormous difference how Messiah is not getting nearly the level of hype that Chronojet is getting just because it can be played in D format now. The hot stamp is a little lower in comparison to Chronojet, but the triple R and commons you can pick up from the trial decks, they're still under $1. or at $1 without really looking. The comparison is just ridiculous. And then I want to go back to Lutetia support, starting with Cooling Heart Yuika, who is currently $46 minimum and has been selling around $45. It had its low point back in December around 25 and just shot right back up. But it's basically stayed around 45 since then. It did go up to 60 at one point. But the rest of Lutetia seems to be getting a few more listings back on the market, though I don't know if this is going to be short-lived. It's still selling for $20, but you have a few listings below $19 right now. So if you still need to pick up Lutetias, this might be your entry point, because I don't think this will get that much lower. Nostria is another support card for Lutetia, which is also dropped off, but overall has spiked really hard in value. You can pick them up for $13 right now, and there are a fair amount of listings. But again, my fear is that even though there are a good amount now, the rest of the cards might end up like this. Slap Twinkle has an $8 listing, and this morning it had $5 listings. But if you take a look, now it's down to 2 listings with only $8 as the minimum. Lutetia just keeps going in and out of the market for all of its support cards, and when it comes back really cheap, but then it just disappears almost immediately, so you really have to pay attention to Lutetia if you still need to pick those up. Direful Dolls from set 5 for Tamayura and then Shuten Doji later. We're looking at $40 minimum for the SPs, and then Rarami is a little bit higher than Rirami is, but overall they're about the same in price with the same amount of listings overall, so they are running low on quantities if you still need to pick up Tamayura. The World 3,000 Years Later Roroa. Basically, the Roroa ride line is starting to rise higher in value, particularly the Grade 2 and the Grade 1. The Grade 2 is above $15 now, and the Grade 2's foil is now $5. It's progressively been rising over the months. I had not really been paying attention to this, but if you have foils of this, they're worth a little bit now. So, good time to put them on the market as players are looking at them now. Grade 1 version of Aroa has also jumped up close to $20, and it only has 4 more listings. The holofoil is about $3 to pick up right now. That dollar that you saw has a $2 shipping tag with only 1 listing, so it's basically a $3 card at this point. And to wrap it up, Moth Girl Maple. This card was falling out for a little while, but it also rebounded and is back above $30 right now, with some listings selling at $35. Overall, it's going above $30 again, and the listing count is pretty low. We'll see if more players put more of these on the market as we go, but if not, it's going to be hard to find these now pretty at low value. Remember, this goes with Tegrea and basically has to be run as a 4-of in there. It might be replaceable to some extent with a new Moth Girl Maple, but I'm not sure. But this is played in Stoichia and Cater Sanctuary in general, as it can be played in both types of decks, and it's basically just a free body on the board. Thank you guys for watching today. That's all I've got for you. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.